Early on in our relationship, Dan Jessup and I discovered that we both had big dreams about seeing the world. And we started acting on that right away. One of our first trips was to the city of Boston. Dan planned it all. And that's where we discovered that Dan is fantastic at planning the logistics. And I'm much better at figuring out what to see and when to see it and how to see it. Since then, our relationship has evolved a lot, and we've discovered that Dan is much more adventurous, than I am. Dan loves to go on trips where we see and do things. I, on the other hand, love a beach vacation where we sit in the sun and the only adventure we have to talk about is how great our tan is, where we read books and swim a little bit and rest and maybe have some things delivered to us poolside. Why do I tell you this? Because when it comes to reading scripture, you have to know who you are. There have been trips where I've been resentful that we have to do another thing. We have to change hotels to go to another city to explore. And I can tell when Dan is restless on the beach and he's bored. His book flops into the sand and he huffs and is just bored. I've heard a lot of people say the Bible is boring. They say it kind of real close to my ear, as if they're ashamed to say that they've read through the lists and the rules and the regulations and the history and the places they can't find on a map, and it is boring. It doesn't hold their attention. It's much easier to sit down and binge a Netflix show than it is to try to be engaged fully in the Bible. So what does being bored with scripture and our love of traveling have to do with each other? You have to figure out who you are and how God created you. When we plan trips now, I know if Dan has compromised for a beach vacation, there better be a day or two of adventure in there for him. And he knows if we pick an adventure trip, there's got to be some time built in where we don't have to go anywhere, but maybe just eat an ice cream cone on a park bench and watch the city around us. The same is true of scripture. Maybe you're dealing with a relationship that's broken, that you desperately want fixed. Maybe you're up to your eyeballs in debt and you have no idea how to overcome it. Maybe you're hoping your family will grow, or there's an illness that you can't quite come to terms with. Find it in Scripture. Don't just read that one singular passage, but read the whole context. Read the whole chapter. Maybe read 2 chapters. God has something specific for you in Scripture. When you tackle a topic that's specific to your life story in this moment, God is going to show up in surprising and amazing ways. So take all of who you are and use that to find God in Scripture. For the next few weeks, we're going to be talking about different tools you can use to find God just the way you need to in Scripture. Maybe all 12 ideas will really settle with you and you'll be excited to try them all. Maybe you'll wait till the end of this mini-series and discover that there is one that really sounds like a way you could use Scripture. Whether you find God whitewater rafting or exploring new cities, or if you sit and look out the window and sip tea and ponder God's words, there's a way for you to engage and be moved and transformed by Scripture. I hope you'll journey with me as we figure out the best way for all of us to find God in Scripture.